I live in Mountain View, California. Mountain View is the home of Google, which is about a mile from my house. I live right, although I'm a database architect by trade, I'm a surfer and a gardener by hobby and love. So this is truly paradise. This is the first time I've been able to work in the place that I love the most, which is Costa Rica. And historically, I've never been able to work except in places like Silicon Valley. I've spent time in Costa Rica since the late 1990s. But typically, Costa Rica is a paradise for nature lovers and surfers, but kind of a desert for internet connectivity and in general support for high tech. And so what makes Skyloft and Silicon Beach truly amazing is that I have right here 26 megabits down and 26 megabits up. And more importantly, it's reliable. If I'm in the middle of a virtual meeting or talking to my boss, in a chat session, it can't fail, and it doesn't. To live and work, I have very, very high expectations for what internet should provide me with and what a work environment should provide me with. But when I'm working in Silicon Valley, in Mountain View, it's actually very difficult. The water is cold, off of San Francisco. It's crowded, there's localism. It's actually not a nice place. I used to surf there 30 years ago, and it's very, very different. Being here, it's the flip side, that I have lots of space, people understand nature, they appreciate nature, I have beautiful surf, but the work was a problem, right? Because what comes with that intense, highly populated Silicon Valley and San Francisco Bay Area is fantastic infrastructure for work. Yeah. And so now let's talk about that for a moment. The problem, in my view, is that it's no longer the case, even for if you just look at the work situation. That what I described was probably perfectly true just around the time of the dot-com boom, maybe just before it, in the late 1990s. And since then, what's happened is the congestion has grown and the cost of living has increased. But at some point, you reach the tipping point and people can no longer afford to live close to the place that they work. And as soon as that happens, much of the selling point of the Bay Area falls apart. It was an enjoyable experience, an intense experience, a focused experience, a startup experience. And in my view, that's harder and harder to find and harder for a company to achieve and to provide in the Bay Area per se. And so what's happened is things have spread out so much, and people who are working even in Cupertino at Apple or at Google or in San Francisco, south of Market, are living an hour or 2 hours away from their workplace. Now, if you add that to their lives, the quality of life is now very different, and their ability to focus at work and look forward to work and find people at work who are leaving early or coming later, trying somehow just to deal with the fact of their commute, things start to break down. So from a corporate point of view, it's much more difficult to attract the talent and maintain the talent and find a concentration of talent as they move out. The other solution is a virtual solution, right? Is to allow individuals like myself to continue to work for a company in Silicon Valley, but to be here. What I'm doing here is developing the next version of this system and maintaining it. I can do this alone, but if I were sitting as a database architect beside somebody who was going to create the UI for this product, or more importantly, somebody who understood the workflow, the actual physician and oncologist workflow for this product, it would be essential that we were in a room multiple times, that we could find each other and bounce ideas against each other. So spreading us out is a real problem in that case. And having us not at work if we're trying to deal with our commute and we have no common time and not enough common time is also a real problem. So what's the solution? The solution is to somehow take the entire team and put it someplace where they're happy again, which I think is the dream, maybe not the reality, but the dream of something like Silicon Beach. Skyloft is me sitting here as an individual working remotely, as happy as I can be, because I surf in the morning and I surf at night, and that works. But if you want to move it one step forward and actually have the creative process sustainable and in a place like this, and by the way, the product will be much better because people will be so energized by coming out of the water and here. You know, I will be in a frame of mind, I guarantee, as a team member to cooperate and to innovate and just, you know, my mind will be wide open. You know, I'll have tremendous presence of mind. It's as if, you know, we're all meditating before we start, in a sense we are, whether it's nature or surfing, whatever it is, as opposed to 2 hours of driving in traffic. I imagine that the dream entails bringing together that critical mass of people, different kinds of people. Yeah. People who like to found new companies and startups, people who like to work on them, and then provide this infrastructure, not just the wires, but the space.